Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. So much is going on. We got a whole bunch of things to get into. But I'd like Tina to tell you what's going on in her country. It's crazy. She's having problems with the solar power energy affecting everything over where she is right now. So if she's breaking up, I'm sorry. We can't change that. But I'm going to let her try to tell you what's happening right now because it's pretty crazy. Okay, Tina, I'm giving it up to you. Greetings, Tina. Say hello, everybody, and you can have it.
Hi guys, I'm Tina Barrett here in the UK. Sorry I've not been around this last few weeks. My mum's been ill in hospital and I've been very sick. Here in the UK, it's been we've had severe bad weather, but we've also had issues with the internet connections. And there's an issue with military planes and signals, and also people haven't been able to shop online or buy things or internet banking because of solar flares here in the UK. So I'm not even sure if you're receiving this. It might be slow or it might be broken up. Also, I'm not sure if people know, Barack Obama was seen coming into the UK last night to have a secret meeting with our Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. But I haven't seen on the daily news apart from what was shared on the internet news last night. So I can't tell you any more than that. But fresh fruit and vegetables have been a bit harder to buy here in the UK on the shelves. Another 30 or 40p at least on each item has gone up. So that's continually this year. Prices have risen and risen and risen again. It's really, really expensive now just to buy toilet roll. I'm doing fine, a bit better now. My mum's been in the hospital. I've had a bit of hypothermia and cold, and I've had other health issues at the moment. So I've just come to terms with a few of those things. Lots of things going on in the UFO field actually this week, but I'll let Tommy get into a bit more of that. There's lots of questions out there we want to get out. Lou Elizondo posted a photograph. It was a drawing. It was a picture on X, the old Twitter, of him holding up a picture. Now, this picture is uncannily like I did. My friend forwarded the post to me. So I'll see if I can get the picture up on my phone to show you. But, oh no, but there is my painting I did a few years ago. So it's on my wall. There you go. It's signed. But Lou Elizondo did a brilliant one. And it is on. Let me get my Facebook up. I've had to put it on Facebook because I keep losing my pictures. But we go back. 1 second. There. So Lou Elizondo, there he is there on, but he's holding up a picture. If you look at his triangle, square, and circle picture, that is mine. That's one I painted about 2016, 17. And there's his picture there. So that I painted that, and that's hanging on my wall in my hallway. But other questions people should be asking and things like that. They're saying the next step now is abduction. So people that have been abductees like me, health issue questions should be raised. And I believe there's a professor at the moment doing that. The government has lied to us. If we lied to the government, we're arrested for perjury. It's against the law. You're fined and you go to prison. But the government lies to you every day and nothing is done. There is no consequences for that. So that's something I'd like to address in the future. But I'll give it back to Tommy for now.
Well, greetings, everybody. The things I want to get into. The first thing is unidentified flying objects. The government's classifying it as unidentified aerial phenomena, which is a ridiculous wording. And if the UFO world accepts it, they should be shot, because basically what they're doing is taking attention off of what's really going on, what it really is, and making it sound like it's nothing or just weird stuff going on. They don't want to admit to what's really happening. I just got a video from a friend of mine, one of my students, an incredible video. There's this ship over the sky shooting this beam of light down, and the ship goes right up into it, and then it blasts out into space. And there's tons of people all around screaming, "What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?" They're not going to be able to stop disclosure, not the disclosure that Stephen Greer is trying to bring out. I just lost Tina. But what's going on, people? It's not good. In Hawaii, there's so much UFO stuff going on. It's actually so crazy. Hope you can stay on, Tina. Sorry about that. But in the interim, I want to get into a few things because people have no clue, like what you was talking about, what's going on in your country right now. But in the United States, the people on X and stuff are talking about how great Putin is. They're saying, "Isn't it great that he got in it?" They're talking about.
He's been re-elected, but it's just been announced today he's in a lot of trouble with the Nepalese government. He's been taking on or asking Nepalese soldiers to go forward and paying them. So he's using them as mercenary soldiers. At the moment, he has about 2,000 Nepalese soldiers, and the Nepalese government are stopping people crossing the border into Russia with false passports and documents now.
Well, he's just as evil as anybody else, and Trump's no better. But I want to bring this out right now before we get into the show too much. Putin actually said on Russian TV 3 months before Trump was elected president, he wanted President Trump to come out and tell the world what happened at 9/11, and then he also told them that he wanted him to tell the truth about what they're doing with aliens. At that time, Putin actually said, and this was on Russian TV, that he wants, they're working with 27 alien races, and 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Nobody's talking about that. When he met Trump, he actually told Trump to his face. Trump created the Space Force the day after he met Putin. But Mr. Trump goes, "I don't believe in aliens." So I don't know where we're going to go. It looks pretty bad for Trump getting in. But there's an incredible thing happening, and people have no clue how good it would be. Kennedy is planning on running with Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura was a governor. He was a wrestler. He had a TV show for 2 years. He exposed more things than anybody else in the United States ever did. I think it would be the greatest thing for the United States but the Democrats are worried that they'll take all the votes from Biden and Trump will still get in. But, I don't think people understand who Jesse Ventura really is. Please, I don't know how many shows of his are still left on the internet. They tried taking them all down. They took his show off the air. But he did do his show for over 2 years, people. And if you could watch any of them, watch them, because he exposed everything from the HARP system, the FEMA camps, you name it, the underground cities. He exposed all that, and nobody cares. It's sad. I don't know where these people that want Trump to get in have their brains. But Trump actually said he will be a dictator the day he gets in. And people still love him. And what he did, the whole rape situation, he's paying $93 million. But all these things going down, and everybody still loves him. I call it programming. It's the same thing aliens do when they abduct people. They program them, which we call experiences in the UFO world. People that claim that they had a great experience on a UFO. If you got questions, all right, please put them in the comments. If you've got anything important to say, I can bring you on. But we're going to go into this in detail, what's going on with people like Stephen Greer and everybody else, what's happening to the UFO world. But I see it deteriorating. And if people don't use the word UFOs, we're not even going to be able to talk about a UFO. We're going to be talking about strange phenomena. I mean, we could talk about ghosts, spirits, and demons and all that stuff, but they're separate things. We could do a show on demons, but we're not doing that. We're doing a show on UFOs and aliens. And people need to know aliens are not angels, which I'm just reading all about today and yesterday. They're not good. There's no good thing they ever did for the human race. People, do you want the truth? If you do, stay here. If you don't, go to all those other UFO conferences, listen to what they're talking about, go home with no knowledge of anything that's really going on. All they're concerned about is what the government did. The government is protecting the world, people, whether you want to hear that or not. Russia and the United States are having wars with aliens, whether the UFO people ever talk about that or not. I think they're afraid to talk about the truth, like Lou Elizondo. He said he can't. But I don't know if you remember Art Bell, when he did his TV radio show, it was worldwide.
Yeah.
The people that came on there, half of them said, well, I can't say that. I can't say that. All the people that were coming on there weren't even telling you half of the truth. Now we have a little more freedom to talk, but all they can talk about is what the government's doing. How about what aliens are doing to human beings right now? Look at Tina. She's an effect of it. Do people care? Do people understand what's going on with her? I think the top scientists should be analyzing her and seeing why she's radioactive and really important things that are going on, what happens to people that get abducted.
Yeah.
And then yet these famous people, well, abduction's not real. I'm not going to say all their names. There's too many names out there.
Well, actually, no, they've come out and said yes. They said they proved UFOs are real. That's been out a few years now. They were after origin intent, and they said the next thing on the agenda, they're looking at, which they are looking at now and publishing things on now, is abduction and the effects to human beings.
Well, I can't say his name, but he came out, top scientist, college, whatever, he's a college teacher and all that, said 78% of abduction is a mind sickness. Then he said 28% could be a possibility of being abducted. All right. And this is one of the top people in the United States saying that. And then we got, the Japanese guy, the water guy, scientist. They're claiming he's the top. He has no clue. He never met an alien. He never saw a ship. And he's
Can I just ask a question? Sorry. Let's just put it in the chat room. Obelisks in Wales, Tina, does it mean anything? We have obelisks all up and down the country here in the UK, Egyptian obelisks for some reason, and remembrance ones. Is it like the things in America that appeared in the desert, John? If you let me know, I can look it up for you. Wales is about a 4 to 6 hour drive from where I actually live, so it's a long way. But if you give me a bit more reference, I can look it up for you.
Well, they're not saying much about it. Like you said, they're being spotted more and more around the world. Now, what would it take for them to analyze the metal, see how far into the ground it goes, or anything about it? They don't want to even talk about that. I guess they're afraid to, because they might find something different, like it's not man-made. If there's no seams on it, if there's no metal that they might not be able to even penetrate them. We don't know anything about them, except they're finding them.
You had quite a few, and they're in rare, quite far places as well, like in the middle of the desert.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody take a giant piece of metal like that across the desert to put it in a piece of ground. Really? How many people would lift that thing up and stick it there?
Well, the first original one they found, there was no tire tracks. It was in the middle of a desert. And a military team found it. That tells you what you need to know right there.
Well, I mean, they could remove the tracks and things like that. But again, like all crop circles, there's no tracks going to them. But the people that created them did also remove their tracks getting to them. All right. The fools that go out there and create crop circles. But there's a lot going on with that right now as well. I knew a lady that was inside one. She traveled the world and she did calendars on crop circles, but was actually inside one being made. So it wasn't these guys walking around with boards on the ground, stamping on the ground, making crop circles. People rather believe the lies than believe the truth.
Well, I bet the gentleman that's supposed to have made the crop circles, and let me tell you this, Tommy, they don't carry bags of radiation around with them.
Exactly. Another important factor. John Ford filmed the best UFO crash ever. in Long Island, in New York. Hold on, my dog's going. Mom, let me finish that. He actually was put in a nut house, saying he had a barrel of uranium put on
Yeah, I
public
remember you
TV in
saying.
New Jersey, that he was going to put it in Congress toothpaste to kill them all. And that's how they put him in a nut house. All right. They never gave him a chance to go to trial because he will release the video if he does, and they're afraid of that. I saw the video before he sent it around the world to 4 countries, saying if he gets killed, it gets released. But he's in jail from 1996. If he would have released it then, nothing would have happened to him because it would be out already. All right. There's different forms of treatment for radiation, Gina. I don't know if you're checking on him. I mean, he put it up in the chat too. But the government has certain things that they take if there's radiation involved. Not that they're going to come to you and help you when they should be, but do a little. I'm going to help. I had them written down. I thought I put them on your site, but it's out there. And you should be concerned about that as well because
the government should be helping everybody that's been taken. This is my argument all along, and it's wrong. It's disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, the United States doesn't want to admit it because they'd have to pay for the medical of all these people that are being abducted.
Well, it was the United States that paid for private research into the effects, and they have found the ground crews on the Go Fast videos and other people on these aircraft carriers that they suffered permanent damage just from being on the ground crew where these planes landed that had engaged UFOs. So just from being near them, that's without being abducted, how much damage does it do to you? They've proven that.
If you actually watched Chernobyl, what really happened to those people, what happened in New York City even, all the firemen and policemen that died from it, and they were going to be getting paid. But guess what? I was there when it happened. Sean David Martin was with me. We were on a rooftop looking at the smog that was over the whole city a week after it happened. But it's sad because, so much went down. And I'm brought this out. Putin told Trump to tell the world what really happened at 9/11, why the third building went down, and all the things that people just ignore. When they put Mr. Bush and his father, the two of them, doing a ceremony with the New World Order, it was on the internet for about 1 day, and it was disappeared. But it was out there. And you'd think people would care what's really going on. I've been writing letters because everybody's talking about the Constitution and electoral votes. It's all evil, people. It was created only to control people. It wasn't created for anything good for people ever. So when they say, well, the Constitution, carrying guns was created so that they could kill Native people. They got paid for killing men, women, and children. I don't want to get into all that, but we're in serious trouble, people. If Trump gets in, he paid a supposedly Native elder to come out and say, all Native people love him. All right. But see, I studied the Native teachings. I was on the reservation for a while. I did a lot of things with that. But they still believe that aliens help them. They call them the star beings. I said, if the star beings were really helping you, you might be alive. 50 million Native people were killed in 200 years. While they said they work with the star beings. The star beings are the Greys. And they don't even want to admit to that. Now they're saying they work with Bigfoot. Bigfoot never helped people. I was friends with Keone, who actually did 40 years.
Not the right idea. Just keep the hell out of Dodge and keep away from human beings. They're bad news all round.
I've never been so disgusted in my life as I am right now.
Talk about bad news, Tommy. I don't know if people know in America, we've had loads of huge whales wash up dead here in the UK on the shores.
When was this? Recently?
The last week or so, up and down the country, different types of huge, large, very old, large whales have been washing up and down the country.
We had 2 in Hawaii, but they took it out to sea, and they said it's going to take 2 years to analyze why it was killed and all that.
One of them in the country, I think the science department took it away to study why it died, I think, and they were worried about bird flu or things like that. But
here in Hawaii, we got the Heart Boat. HAARP boat come in every 6 months. It's offshore. It was for a while. All right. A submarine came in as well. But when it came in a couple years ago, they put all these boxes in the ocean where we all go swimming and where the dolphins come in all the time. It's sound boxes that work with the HAARP system. The dolphins can't come in there no more. All right. They're afraid the United States people might learn how important dolphins are. They're interdimensional creatures.
A new breed of orca whale. They reckon it's a new species or a subspecies. They've just scientifically documented it. They've had pictures taken of it. So that's a good sign. Hopefully, different breeds in that. But there's something seriously going wrong with our planet.
It can't be good as long as we let Japan take the whales out of the open waters.
Yeah, there's no country should be doing that. Nobody should be
allowed to take 10,000 whales a year. Nobody
should be taking any. They've had enough by now.
They just pull them on the boat and turn them into canned food. Nobody knows how many they're catching. If it wasn't for the show on TV,
leave the whales alone. Do you know what I mean? No,
they're not going to.
Awful.
Oh, here in Hawaii, and we're going slightly off the topic, but in Hawaii, I had a friend. I brought him on my show once. He did birthing with women out in the ocean with the dolphins. They would get together, do a prayer ceremony at nighttime, and go to the water when the baby was being born, and the dolphins would form a circle around him. Always. All right. And they would hit the child with different kind of signals. But they found out those children become super smart, can communicate with dolphins, and super healthy. And the government doesn't want that. I mean, for 10 years straight in the United States, the government killed 10,000 dolphins a year. I met the trainer of Flipper, and he's spending the rest of his life trying to stop that from happening.
It's a shame mankind has ruined this planet for us. We're scared of this planet.
Trump is going to save us? He doesn't believe in global warming. He wants to go back to coal.
But again, I must admit, in Mr. Trump's about global warming, people seem to forget the Earth is like a washing machine cycle. Millions of years ago, we used to be a lot hotter than we are now. And millions of years ago, the UK used to be a tropical island. So we've been extremely hotter than we are now. And every couple of million years, we revolve around the universe. This is us. Our planets revolve around it, but this also revolves around the universe. And different spaces throughout the universe, we also go up and down. We're at peak time there where we're up. We're praying for asteroids to hit us because we're not down. And at this peak upper time, it was shown at the time of the dinosaurs, the Earth was hotter. But yes, we damaged the planet, yes.
I did more research on that than anybody else in the United States, probably, because I challenge every single person in the United States that talks about global warming.
Yeah.
Not one of them is talking about what's actually creating it. Yeah. The government won't talk about what's creating it because we create it. Sure, the Earth moves and changes and does things, but when they hit the country or a state with a directed energy beam, it changes the temperature.
Yeah, we shouldn't be doing that.
And when we send spaceships up into space, we burn the ozone layer. We do a lot of things, but we have what we call CERN, C-E-R-N. You know about that.
Yeah.
What they do, they shut it down because it was dangerous. But they didn't shut it down. They said that about the HAARP system, or we're shutting it down. They did not shut it down. All these things that are creating the auroras that are being formed around the planet with the beams coming from the sun and everything else, they're not talking about that. Because UN agenda, which is the top of the main problem on the planet right now. Don't forget,
radiation from the sun will make the planet hotter.
But, they hit the sun, and I'm talking about 15 years ago with it's called blue bombs. Why would they hit the sun with blue bombs? All right. I knew a guy in the Marines who was working with the whole idea of what they were doing and everything else. There's a pyramid in Hawaii protected by the government. There's so many things out there. And if people want the truth, you don't listen to people at UFO conferences. They have no clue. They never saw an alien. They were never next to a ship. Tina was on a ship, people. One of the few people on the planet that actually was on a ship and knows it. I mean, programming goes on. These people get on a ship and come off. They just have missing time. Or they come back with Oh, I had this great experience and they took me out to dinner and all this other bull. People, this is the only show that I know. I listen to every single one, and I challenge even people that do Ancient Aliens and all those kind of people. Richard Dolan, I hit him up every day. Well, I think this is, I think, who cares what you think? It's time to prove what's going on the planet. Get Fred Ron Ford out of jail. Get him to release his video. It's an actual clear video of a ship that crashed on Long Island.
We should have. There's so many people in ufology that have what they call old timers that have retired, but they're still active. They've got to hold so much information. People just come out of retirement, share your knowledge before you pop off or go anywhere.
In the United States, they're all killed. The top people, I know 16 directly friends of mine in the UFO world, top speakers as well, were taken out. I know my best friend and his whole family was taken out. When the government and Congress at the UFO conferences, we don't take people out. They're lying to the public. I put my life on the line every show I do, and I don't care. I mean, I'm going to go one way or another, but I'd rather be putting the truth out. Not like these whistleblowers come out, 25 years later? Oh, I saw this. When? 25 years ago. Really? Why don't you come out and bring out the truth when we need to hear it? Not. It's like saying, well, a person died 100 years ago. We're going to find out how he died. Who cares? We're in the present. Things are happening dangerously every which way. And people are still talking about Tic Tacs. An ex-friend of mine who sold out, who's attacking me all the time. Luckily, it's not happening right now. We film more UFOs than anybody else in the United States. Actual photographs of UFO ships, not Tic Tacs. We released those pictures for 7 years straight. We did a show on Carrie Cassidy's show for 9 months and put pictures up every week. All right. We had a fight at the end of 9 months and he sold out. That's all I can say because he attacked me and that was it. And then he changed. He's no longer talking about UFOs. He's talking about being a disciple of Jesus. Tell me that's not selling out and being programmed. People, and he got a lot of money as well. People, we're in trouble and nobody wants to talk about the truth. I've been writing letters to Mr. Musk every day. I just wrote him 5 this morning. And he's going on about this, that, and the other thing. I said, you want to save the planet?
They've not had good. They've launched some space shuttles, haven't they, for the deep missions, and they've all met with calamitous ends, haven't they?
Well, he's still planning on going to Mars, and he wants to be going there. He doesn't even know what happened on Mars already. I tell him, you need to get involved with what really happened.
They're in the 40s already.
Exactly. You know, people don't want the truth. They want to live in lies because somebody in the UFO world goes, well, that didn't really happen, but this happened. No, they don't know what's going on. Even Area 51. All right. A good friend of mine, Sean David Morton, is dying. He's been dying for almost 2 years, but he's surviving. He's going for every imaginary treatment that there is on this planet. But he was put in jail. He was the top psychic in the United States. He was one of the top speakers in the UFO world.
Okay.
And they framed him with 150 false allegations. All right. And he was a sovereign citizen. He wasn't allowed to testify for himself. He wasn't allowed to have a lawyer. Not one shred of proof, not one witness. And they put him in for a couple of years until he was dying. But they tortured him the whole time in jail. And all the things that he went down with. But the most important thing, I mean, he prophesied 9/11 in detail 1 year before it happened. But the most important thing he ever did, he was taking people to Area 51, 4 to 6 people in a van every other week, and they went up and watched the mothership land there. Once they caught him there, they bought all the land around it, and now it's the most protected base, or whatever you want to call it. But he was the one, I was invited. He went on Montel Williams and invited Montel Williams to go there.
I remember the Montel Williams show, yeah.
So, but again, people, the truth's not coming out. And then I told Mr. Trump, I told everybody, you want the truth? Find out what MJ-12 really means. They control the president. They control almost of the world because Russia's doing the same thing right now. Not the wars here. I'm talking about what's going on in space. Putin wants to live forever. He wants to protect his family. He doesn't care about anything else. He wants global warming so he can grow vegetables all year round. But again, people, he's a mass killer. And when people support him, They're supporting murderers. Trump, with this whole rape thing that he's paying this giant fee to get rid of, right? And now the fact that they're putting pictures up of what went on with, I'm not going to say the names, this island where all the sex things went down with children and everything else.
Oh,
Well,
no,
drips
don't
and
go
drabs.
there. Don't go
Drips and
into that.
drabs.
Before we go anywhere, because my time's only up, I've got to
Oh,
go
you're
and.
done. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to give
okay.
you
I'm
before you go.
hoping by the summer to build it up to like 45 minutes to go back to an hour, but due to ill health at the moment, we're going for this. But please, guys, I've had a few questions about my book, and I've been answering people. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction by me, T.A. Bird. And there it is. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get this book for free. So Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. You can buy it on Kindle. It's cheaper. And you can buy the paperback book. It was going to have photos in it, but for some reason, even Amazon couldn't get them in there. It's less than a packet of cigarettes, so I think it's £10 online, and you can have it tomorrow. It's called The Bonded, and it's about my abduction account. I've tried to put everything I can in there in kind of order as I kind of remember it. It has my investigative statement in there. So it's available on Amazon, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. So it's free. You can read this, guys, for free. It's on KDP, so you can read it on Kindle Unlimited, on Kindle, and get the book. And if you ever see me about, I'm quite happy to sign them. Also, other books going are The Guardians of Light and The Brotherhood of the Night. You can read that one. I'll reread it again because I've read it a few times. I really love it. But there you go. That's a good book. Fantasy book, made up book. There you go. That's a really intriguing read, and I've had some good feedback about that. So, guys, from me for this week, and again, I do apologise for my absence as I have been ill and I've had family in hospital, but Tommy's been so great without me, and he keeps the show going, guys. He keeps it real. But for me, John and everyone, and thank you for coming on tonight. Please leave Tommy with some questions or answers. Come on next week. Hopefully we're going back to a regular time. Touch wood, everything's going to work out fine, and we'll see you then. But from me, from here in the UK, Tommy, it's been an absolute pleasure. This guy's going. Thank you, Tommy.
Before you go,
Yes.
please get in touch with me. I need to talk to you about a book. My book's supposed to be coming out next month, but I need to talk to you about that. So try to get in touch with me somehow, Skype me or whatever. All right, Tina, it's always a pleasure. Try to stay safe.
Until next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Tina Bird, one of the few people in the UFO world that I truly trust. What I wanted to say, we've been doing a show for 3 years, and we don't have a lot of people because people don't want to hear the truth. They're so afraid of it. They'd rather live in La La Land, like all these spiritual people talking about, we're moving forward. We're going to become spiritual beings. And, all this energy is becoming pure. I said, what planet do they live on? Sure, not planet Earth. What's happening is dangerous at every level. Food contamination, water contamination, air contamination. The drugs they put on people are poisonous and toxic. People, Woody, I guess I shouldn't have said that. I wish I could erase it. Because, when I talk about medical things, I get taken off. Then they threaten me. If the show disappears, you know why? I'll be trying to put it on a couple other Brighteon. I'm going to start trying to put my shows on there because they don't care what you say. And you're allowed to say the truth. But it seems like YouTube is so against the truth. I mean, they let all these other people talk about ridiculous things and lies. The so-called most spiritual people have no clue about a God. Never mind helping people become aware of what? Living life. It's easy to live life, but to move forward is complicated, and mankind doesn't want to do it. But getting back to where we were, what's happening in the UFO world with people like Stephen Greer. I write him letters every day. Every video he puts up, I write 10 of them underneath him. And my open thing now, I'm putting it up online on every site. Anybody that wants to debate anything pertaining to this subject, please, I'll set up a show and let them come on. But, most people have no balls because they are afraid to stand by what they're talking about. All right. I live by the truth. Even my ex-friends attacking me because a lot of reasons, which I'm not going to get into. People are afraid of the truth. The little truth that they have, they exaggerate it and make it mean something important. The UFO world is dangerous. I could go out any night and film UFOs. Tina could go out any night above her house and there's UFOs over it. All right. You think people in the UFO world would be concerned about that? When I got involved with MUFON, the biggest ripoff of an organization in the United States, I was going to become a main investigator in Hawaii. And they said, well, you don't believe this and that. I said, well, Bud Hopkins was an idiot. Another person that never met an alien, a ship, or anything. He hypnotized people and got his information that way. But a lot of it was lies as well. I'm not going to get into that. Another story that's incredibly dangerous. When you hypnotize people, you hypnotize them, and different entities could talk through them, which people believe as being them. I did it. I started when I was 12. I was actually doing all my friends at 14. I worked with an army hypnotist who taught me that you can hypnotize people to do anything you want them to do. Anything. Like the person that killed John Lennon, like the person that killed Lee Oswald or whatever. They came out of reprogramming school. People, if you look for the truth, it's there. If you want it, it's there. But if you don't want it, it doesn't matter, does it? But in the UFO world right now, ancient aliens have been talking about pyramids for 15 years. And they still got the same ideas about it now. If they were important, it would be important to understand them. But sadly, every race that was involved, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, are all gone. Why? Did any of their teachings, anything they did, be beneficial to them? Of course not. The pyramids, the Egyptians, in their writings in the pyramid, showed they did not know a thing about reincarnation. And that's all you hear them talking about. What they did to the bodies and everything else had no connection to reincarnation. All the things that we're hearing, well, the pyramid set up, grid lines, so what? It's not helping us right now. And it never did. All right, these people that are working with aliens, called experiences. Tina's not an experiencer. She's an abductee. The right word is being taken without permission. The whole UFO world seems to realize what the government does has nothing to do with what aliens are doing to people. Who cares about Project Blue Book, Pegasus, and all those other projects? It doesn't talk about abductions. They won't admit it. They won't admit what Eisenhower and I keep thinking of stupid other guy, Truman, all right, what they created when MK12 was created, what it was created for, to cover up all the truth. And people, if you're on the wrong end of the stick, you get taken out. I'm surprised I'm still here. I really am. And my ex-partner I did all my UFO work with is no longer talking about UFOs. Is he? But he's claiming to be an angel and a disciple of Jesus. I challenge him. I'm aware of my past lives. I know that has nothing to do with the topic. I was here in Atlantis. There were 9 races here then. But they were destroyed. The race that was left, but not 5 races out of the 9 already left. Hold on 1 second, please. Sorry about that. My little doggy wants to come in. But people, if you have questions, email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. All right. If I don't know it, I'll find out the truth for you. But don't ask about all these government programs. Michael Salla lived in Hawaii, and I was harassing him a lot. And he moved away from Hawaii. But he's still talking about the same thing. All he can do is attack the United States government. He's from Australia. Australia has the biggest army base on the planet, and I know nobody knows that either. I said, attack your country. Go after what's going on in your country. Why attack the United States? All right. But I know a lot more than 99% of the people in the UFO world. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the truth. New Jersey, where I lived most of my life, Picatinny Arsenal was the first army base inside the United States. Seriously. All right. They created 6 super soldiers 24 years ago. Don't ask me what they did with them, where they took them and everything else. I had people working inside. I mean, they were giving grants of millions of dollars, and they said they're closing it down, but they didn't. One of my friends says it's the most advanced laboratory ever that he ever saw in the United States. People, I got my problems I'm working with right now. I'm going to get more involved with a lot of different things. I'm just got my medical plan, my dental plan rearranged and everything else. But in the interim, I'm still doing my show, dealing with many things here. But people, I'm on top of everything. Everything Trump says, everything Biden says, what Kennedy's saying. I can go into stories that are incredible but important. And you can't say a lot of things on YouTube because they censor you. I lost about 6 shows in the past 3 months. And they keep saying, well, you're talking about medical things. I said, well, guess what? What you call medical is the truth. But you'll put lies up. People could talk about lies and put that up, and it stays up. Why is that? I'm still here. I pay for my YouTube. I don't get paid for the show I do. All right? But I feel that it's my destiny to finish giving out the truth that I can. And not just about UFOs, about spiritual truth. And there's very little bit of that anywhere on the planet, people. Every religion, I challenge every single person running them, involved with them. The Pope himself is one of the biggest liars in a religion. But Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, and I will say Dalai Lama and all those people that are considered the top 5 spiritualist people in the United States and the world. But guess what? Not one of them can talk about a real God. Not one of them talks about a real angel. Not one of them talks about a real live deity. Why is that? They've been working with us many, many, many centuries and years and time frames and all that. But do people care? Oh no, they're this, that, and the other thing. And there was never more than one God. The word God was created by man, given to deities, given to aliens, and everything else. And if you pull it up in the dictionary, it just means superpowers. Jesus never expressed superpowers. He had many of them, but he didn't show them. Sure, he brought people back from the dead and things like that, but he wasn't bragging about it. Never claimed to be God, ever. And people want to create this scenario. God came, created Jesus, and Jesus came here to forgive us. Forgive you for what? Everything you do every day? You create karma. Buddha was 100% right about karma. And it's what keeps people coming back and reincarnating over and over. Aliens are reincarnating into human bodies now. And that's why there's so many people claiming to be, I'm an alien, I'm a walk-in, and all. They're not walk-ins. They have been an alien in their past life, and they came into this body. Not one of them has superpowers, people. Even the woman that claims to be from, there were 6 people came from Venus. How do you say it? Whatever. She claims that she's from there. She had no superpowers. She died, was in a coma for a period of time, came out. But she can't prove anything. And everybody talks about love. Love is not saving the world. It never did. Love's only 2,000 years old. And on top of that, people today have no clue the importance of what love could be instead of what they turned it into, which is anything but important. People, I try to keep everything 100% real. I don't make people happy. I don't make people laugh. I don't believe we have a right to be laughing right now. Oh, you got to be happy in life. Why? We're massive killers, rapists, abusers, liars, cheaters. And we should be happy about that? You're living in hell. All right. Now, why are aliens here? Because they can be. And we open ourselves up to them. I'll tell you this. No spiritual person has ever been abducted. And why is that? I'm not claiming to be spiritual. I do claim I'm protected. Not from the government, but I'm protected from demons, entities, and all those other kind of things, including aliens. I saved my brother from being abducted at 6 years old. I did things I had no clue why I was doing it. All right, I put my life on the line then. People, you need people telling the truth, honest, sincere, willing to talk to you live, which nobody is. I have an open debate with every single person. Lou Elizondo said he would come on my show. All right, but I'm afraid to bring him on because all my shows are being taken down. And if the government knows that, they really probably would attack me and everything else that could happen. Because he's afraid to talk about certain things. He said, well, you got to let me say what I want. I said, you can say whatever you want. Because he can't talk about the real stuff right now because he's still connected to the government. And if that's a possible thing, obviously you can't. I mean, all the people I knew in the UFO world that were talking about, I'll name a person, Bob Dean. He was top secret in the government. All right. He actually said that we are working with 27 alien races. And they're fighting with a few. Putin came out to tell Trump that, what, not 6 months, about 3 months before Trump was elected. Why would he tell Trump that? How did he know Trump was going to be president? Trump works, all these people in power, Putin and people like that, use psychics. Every Hitler, all those kind of people have their psychics working for them. George Washington had his first headquarters in New York City, where Harlem is right now. He was able to do remote viewing. If you know what remote viewing is, it means being able to step out of your body, fly over, and look around. Well, that's how he won his wars. That's how he knew everything that was happening. I know for a fact. I worked in the Jumo Mansion for 2 years with one of the top psychics in the United States. I was doing Ghost Release. We were supposed to do a movie and everything else. But people, remote viewing is not a spiritual gift what people think it is. Invasion of somebody's space goes against the most spiritual laws in this reality. And people don't want to hear that. All right. Now, anybody listening, please send this link to everybody you know in the UFO world. But again, they're afraid to listen. And they're afraid to comment. They're afraid to get back to me. They won't debate me on their half baloney stories that they tell. All right. I said I was involved with aliens in 1958 when I saved my brother from being abducted. But people, I'm not a liar, not a storyteller. I have witnesses for some of the things I went through, not everything. I mean, I don't walk around with people 24 hours, day and night, 7 days a week. But I saw over 2,000 ships. I was close to many of them. All right. I was close to aliens in my house even. I have my friend with me. I can go into those stories, but it's not going to help people from getting abducted right now. And people, I tried to do that the last show I did. There are ways to protect yourself from it. One is to become aware of the truth, of spirit, of God, and all those kind of things, which people don't want. They believe that if I believe in Jesus, I believe him coming back and all those kind of things. You can believe lies and stories. Jesus came here for a reason. He mentioned aliens, believe it or not. He mentioned deities. He mentioned demons. He had a fight with Satan for how long? 40 days, 40 nights, but it was a long time because he was missing for a while. I was aware of my lifetime then. I know the truth about Jesus. He's the most spiritual person that ever walked this planet and tried to bring truth out. But man couldn't accept it then. He couldn't say God. He had to say Father. Couldn't say the inner worlds. He said, Father, in your Father's mansion. And people think, whoa, that's cool. No, it's not. Because most people never get past the astral plane. They stay there for a period of time and have to reincarnate. We all reincarnate, people, many times. Just because you say you're a Christian, a Muslim, whatever, doesn't make you immune to anything. You deal with karma. Jesus cannot take your karma away from you. Because if he forgive you for doing something today, you'll do it tomorrow anyway. And Jesus said, go out and sin no more. He says, once you know the truth, you can't go against it. If you don't know it, then you're not accountable for it. All right. But people don't want to listen to the truth. They twist everything to fit their stupid little ball that they put it in. And then they live in a box on top of that. People, aliens are here for a bad reason. Nothing good. They never did nothing good for any human race that was on this planet. Ever. I mean, the worst thing they did was destroy Atlantis. Because we were spiritual. We were aware. We had abilities. And they took two abilities. One to go through dematerialize and materialize. One ability out of 32. But they don't know anything about God. Alien races have no clue. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do. And they'll reincarnate until they get into a human body and start learning about who and what they are and slowly move and catch up to where the average human is right now. But again, people like stories, like to build themselves up as important. And that's by creating a false idea in their own mind. Oh, I'm an alien. So what? They never did anything good. They're not doing anything good. Why would you want to associate with them? I was an alien in my first lifetime in this realm. I was with the blue race. Not the same blue race Corey Good talks about, because he's working with, there's 3 different blue races, but obviously 2 of them are not good. All right? You'll see this happening in the next 6 years. That's the time frame you got, people, to learn, be aware of everything you should know in this human body. Because you're going to die, and you're going to die without any knowledge, any awareness. And all it means, you'll reincarnate. It doesn't mean anything bad. You can't go to hell, because this is hell. It won't get worse than this. Dante's Inferno talked about the different levels of hell. Well, everything he said actually exists in this physical reality. And it's what people go through. So to think that a soul, when you leave your body, can be tortured and burnt and frozen and all those words is ridiculous. You ever take a light beam and try to burn it? It doesn't work. Try to freeze it. I mean, all these things. I'm not talking about science is doing with lasers and things like that. I'm talking about a soul, really. The light that it radiates and where it comes from and all that. But aliens have no clue. And they don't want to. They're controlling humans. They're controlling races. I mean, there's 9 races here that are affecting us. Now, good and bad people in the UFO world said we're working with 27 alien races. But they're not working with people. They're not helping people. They're working with governments. So right there, it's telling you they're not good people. Do you know a good government that's saving the planet, helping the world? We help ourselves. And that's all people want to do. Aliens have not been helping any humans. Now, why are they here, people? Do you have a clue? Not to help us. Not because we're so spiritual, because they don't know what the word means. Not because we're doing great things. They gave us the worst weapons in existence. Mr. Tesla, all right, worked at DuPont in New Jersey. He worked with an alien race when he created 200 inventions, 50 of the most deadliest weapons, and gave them to the United States government. The rest, a lot of his inventions were brought back to his country, and he made a Tesla museum. But people like Musk taking that, using that name and all that, it's not a good name. Tesla invented the worst thing that could have ever happened to this realm. He didn't invent it, but he brought it out to this world. He was working with alien races in New Jersey. I'm not going to go into all that right now. I don't have time. But he brought out time travel. I was friends with one of the few people in the United States that actually was involved with that and went back in time. All right. People don't want to know that's even real. But the government has a small box instead of a giant ship to make a time travel machine. But again, what are we doing? When you can rearrange history, it destroys reality. So Tesla brought out the most dangerous thing, gave it to the United States government, and they started playing with it. Even though Tesla said, well, they will not use the things I give them wisely, which they won't. Give a boy a toy gun. He'll play cowboys and Indians. Give a boy a real gun, and they'll shoot it. All right? He doesn't know what the effects of it, actually shooting somebody, really will do, or has the awareness about that. When you're given a weapon like a time travel device, CERN, the HARP system, things like that. We don't know until we play with them. The atom bomb, they didn't know what it would do until they dropped it and tested it. Things you could create. I'm not going to go into the other worlds because I'll be taken off. My show will be down in a second. People, I deal with more truth than most people. I'm not a happy person because there's nothing good going on this planet. Well, they'll save one cat while they destroy 100. They'll save a person while they shoot and blast a city. You know, our morals are twisted and gone. I mean, when I was young, there was a magazine that came out, Morals, and it went into them on a monthly basis. But we don't have morals. Well, what moral do you know? Oh, we shouldn't steal, we shouldn't lie. Well, do you? Well, I don't steal. Do you lie? Well, do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you do all those things? Why? To hide from who you are? To hide from where we are? Aliens are here for a reason, people, and it is nothing good. I mean, they did trade technology for the ability to abduct more people, and the government knew that. So you think they can come out and say, well, we're going to confess that we sold the human race out? Really? Why would they do that? People in the United States already hate the government, hate the Army, hate the Marines, hate the police. Let's tell them we're sold out. And that's why people are being abducted everywhere. And the numbers have escalated. I was working with abductees since I was 16. I was helping people with missing time. And I mean, there was a special about that on TV. They had a government guy and a guy in the UFO world. Well, we've been abducted, and the government guy goes, well, there's a problem in the brain that creates the image. Once they see the image and they create, I saw many things that don't exist still. All right. The mind isn't capable of creating things like that unless it goes somewhere. And that's what being out of the body in the right frame, doing the right thing, can help you and bring things good to the planet, not bad things. But sadly, people don't meet their guides, meet their angels. They rather go with a demon or an entity, believe in whatever they want about them, and come back with horrible weapons for the planet. Einstein did it, people. He was just as evil. He brought the biggest lies out to the world. He said we couldn't go backwards and forwards in time. He said there's no such thing as a big object, which we just found a couple of years ago, the biggest object in the multiverse. All these little things he couldn't understand because he was working with a race that fed him false information. What did Einstein bring out to the world? Tesla brought out 200 inventions, copyrighted them all. Actual working things. Einstein didn't do that. Einstein didn't invent time travel or bring it out to the world. He couldn't. He was limited by what the aliens were feeding him. Now, Tesla worked with, I don't know how many races, and I don't know what race he actually worked with, but he did. I grew up in Jersey. I went up to where he was working with DuPont, where the biggest UFO story happened inside the United States. And not one person in the UFO world is talking about it. Why is that? That's why I challenge these assholes. They know nothing. Richard Dolan goes on, well, I think. I joined the site, tried to talk to him 6 to 9 months, never replied to one thing I sent him. And I'm still paying for his stupid site. Tried canceling it. I don't know why I'm still in it. Skinwalker Ranch, same thing. Not one of them would get back to me. Well, what do you want to talk about? The truth. And they come up with story after story, and now they're just making more money going on tour of the United States. If they were more concerned, they'd be concerned about what's really going on the Skinwalker Ranch. My ex-friend, now dead, John Edmond, he had a ranch called the Stardust Ranch. More stuff went on there than on the Skinwalker Ranch. I brought Kerry Cassidy out there. I brought some incredible people out there. We filmed aliens and everything else out there. But people don't want to hear the truth. And he was killed. I'm not going to go into all those details. But the truth can't come out because humans don't want to accept it. I mean, when Jesus was teaching, they didn't want to hear what he was saying. They wanted to make what he was saying fit what they wanted it to be. he died on the cross for your sins. No, he didn't. He died because if he didn't die, he wouldn't be able to prove what he was teaching. Big difference. All right. I'm not going to go into that. This ain't a spiritual show. Nobody cares about religion, really. Deepak Chopra can't talk about any kind of a God. Eckhart Tolle can't either. And sure enough, the Pope can't. Well, Jesus, what? Is love? No. Jesus was in love with a woman, married her, and had a child, yes. And they even condemned all that from being public. People, this is the only show you're going to hear the ultimate truth. And I don't know anybody out there saying anything more important than what I could tell you right now. Where you're going to go when you die. What's going to happen? Aliens going to come suck up your souls? Barbara Messiniak, Bringers of the Dawn. Read that book. She wrote it a long time ago. She changed after she wrote that book. But read that book. It explains some things that the UFO people don't talk about either. There's many things going on, people. You're not going to get it from going to a UFO conference. I don't know one person that I would want to go to a conference with other than Tina. She's real, people. I'm real. I'm not a storyteller. I live under God only. I have to give back to God everything I say and do. If I lie, I'm lying to God. I can't do that. Other people can, because they don't know God. And say you're God, you can do whatever you want. People, Omnek, right. Yeah, well, I tried challenging her about Jesus because she doesn't know a thing. Aliens, she's from Venus, and she said that race believes that he was an alien. See, again, people just make stories when they don't know the truth. Everything I tell you is my direct truth. I died 5 times. I traveled out of my body for 45 years. I met with deities, angels. I'm not even going to say the top word. But people, it's all important. For you, not the world. You're not here to change the world, people. You're not going to make it better. The only thing man does on this planet is make it worse. We haven't created one spiritual thing in 100,000 years. Jesus tried, and what happened to him? People don't want the truth. People want protection. They want life, eternal life. They want to stay here forever. I don't. Nothing good's happening. Why would you want to stay in a world where more and more children are suffering every single minute, every single day? And it's okay. The scandal going on inside our government with children, and Mr. Trump was involved and everybody else was involved. An island where I don't want to get into it, people, but the truth's there right in front of your face, but I don't see it. No, I don't think that happened. Easy to put down stuff that you don't know is true, especially when you don't really care. Well, people, I'm not going to go on. I hope you got something out of today. Please, if you need to ask a question, you want the truth, email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. HAWKSBLOOD 1. All right, people, I answer all my mail, good, bad, or indifferent. I'll reply sooner or later, hopefully sooner. I've been getting swamped with all this government stuff all the time. Every day I got 100 letters from Democrats, 10 letters from the Republicans. And I feel if Kennedy ran with Jesse Ventura, it would be a great thing. But, most people don't know either one of them. And it's kind of late to bring out who Jesse Ventura is because people don't want to hear the truth. But the two of them would bring the truth out. All right, people. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Don't stop searching for the truth. Don't let anybody else's truth change what you know is true. But make sure you prove whatever you think is true to yourself and is real. One experience doesn't make it real. It gives you an awakening of it. You need multiple experiences. I had 5 death experiences, and I learned more each time it happened to me. All right. And all these people that talk about that, Well, I met Jesus. I met God. I met my grandmother. So what? What'd you come back with? Nothing. Like, so, oh, I'm a healer now. Even the person that was abducted, I did a conference in right next to Area 51. And the one woman became claiming she was a healer the year after. I brought her on my show, and she couldn't even talk about what happened when she was abducted. But she was abducted with the government. She was watching the UFOs for the government. They took her on a ship to the moon, and they left her on a ship while she was being abused, and aliens were on the ship, and they threatened the government people, and it was a credible story. But she couldn't even talk about it 2 years later. People, you have to have a real commitment to truth, justice, life, and God. Then you can worry about bringing the truth out. Without that, it's useless. If you don't believe in God or understand God, your truth is useless, because man's ego is our God right now. Money's our ego. Power's our ego. Nothing to do with death and what soul does and where it goes and all those kind of things. Aliens don't know either. They're watching us for that is only a small part of the reasoning. But people, before I go, food is their most important thing. Next to food, it's blood, semen, and ovaries. Just so you know, the truth. No lies, no stories in between. I worked with many abducted women when I was young. Lost their children before they were born. Proved it. Were able to prove it at that time. But nobody wanted to hear it. I'm not going to get into the stories. Maybe I will next time. But enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Truth only is my motto. I'm under God, nothing else. Till then, till next Tuesday, I'm going to try to do another show on spiritual understanding this week if I have time or can. But till then, bye again.